Hello and welcome to a new episode of the show today. And today's episode is a bit of a special one because I've got one of the hosts next to me from the Orange Flag podcast. It's not Nicole this time. It's Aris from the Orange Flag podcast. And first of all, Aris, thanks for your time. And how are you on this? Well, for me, the splendid. For me, it's night time. For you, it's still during the day, I think.
It's actually pretty dark out there, so it's
Ah.
we're just we're split by an ocean, but it's already dark. It's winter time, so I'm in the darkness.
Oh, you're the same as me then. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's first off as well. It's the first question I ask all my guests, even though it sounds a bit repetitive, I guess. But how did your interest in motorsport come about? Was it through family, or was it just as I asked Nicole at the time earlier this year? Was it just like through watching motorsport on TV? I guess.
Yep, that's pretty much how it began for me. Like I was four. It was 2004, so I was 4 or 5 years old. I remember watching, like, I feel like most people get into motorsports watching Formula One, and that's how it started for me too. Like watching, I still remember, one car qualifying sessions on Saturdays, and then the big event, the Grand Prix on Sunday. It's a Sunday morning tradition for us Brazilians, obviously. So. Yes, I can say one of my first memories. If you follow me on Twitter, you've probably seen me mention that a couple times. One of my earliest motorsport memories is the British racing green, the Jags. That remember Jaguar used to have a Formula One team.
Yeah.
That is one of my earliest memories. That huge HSBC bank logo on the side of the cars. That's that that's a great memory. I feel. And then with time, I started discovering, usually by accident, because we didn't have a lot of advertising about other racing series except Formula One over here. I started discovering IndyCar. I saw them racing on an oval. I think it was Michigan, the first race I watched from them. The speeds drew me in. I was like, this is more exciting than Formula One. So I think it was about a year or so afterwards, and that was great. And then it was just open
Yeah.
wheel for a while until, um, like I knew what Le Mans was, and by that point I already knew what Le Mans was, and I already knew that we had Audi and Peugeot as the main LMP1 figures by that point. But I only started watching Le Mans in 2013, and again, that was completely by accident. But, well, happy coincidences, otherwise I probably would not be here right now.
Yeah, but my first experience is similar to yours. My first form of motorsport or championship that I watched was a Formula One. This is probably going back to I'm going to sound old in a second, but this is going back to about 1996. Round about
Oh,
this is the time when Michael Schumacher left Benetton to go and join Ferrari. At the time
yeah.
when he was pretty much he was on a not dominant run, but he was on a championship run with Benetton, and I think yeah, basically he joined Ferrari in '96. Back when Ferrari was still they were in the I wouldn't say the mid pack, but they weren't at the front either. They were kind of stuck in as I like to call it, they were stuck in the doldrums, if you like. Kind of trying to trying to find a way out of find a way to get back to the front, and
Upper
I think
midfield hell?
up in midfield. I was trying to think of the words. Thank you, but yeah, I think Michael Schumacher was pretty much he was the first driver I started supporting, or the main driver I started supporting, and kind of I've just basically been a fan of his ever since, and I and like you say, I remember Jaguar as well, going back to or up to between 2000 and 2004, I think it was, before
Yeah.
they got sold to Red Bull for what's famously known, the famous story being sold for £1 at the time, which I'm still shocked about, considering that the Jaguar at the time was still they were a big still a big like car manufacturer, but they weren't I think, in my opinion, they weren't being run that well just behind the scenes, and it was from what I remember, it was all political. And basically, I think at the end they decided to sell the team, and Red Bull bought them, and the rest, as I say, is history.
Yep. It's kind of come full circle when you think of it, because they now have Red Bull running Ford engines. It's a nice
Yeah.
little circle being closed, and it's like, speaking about this year, they I can say they started out somewhat well, but they're obviously still chasing that victory. But who knows? They're up there. They know how to make stuff work,
Yeah.
even with the mass exodus of personnel in the past couple of years.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I've not really watched Formula One that much over the past couple of years or so. Not properly like I used to back in probably the mid 2000s to the late 2000s. I think
Relatable.
the last season I watched, I think, was Michael Schumacher's last season. I think back in 2012, before he retired, and then kind of my interest kind of like went down, faded a little bit, just because basically they were changing the rules all the time, and it was just, I'll be honest, it was just actually the last season I watched, come to think of it properly, was 2021, but yeah, I don't think we'll go down that road of
No.
2021 because of all the, as I say, as I like to call it, the dramatic bullshit that goes with it.
Yeah,
So,
that was
but
that
it
was
was a bit,
a very, very polarizing year. I remember, like, there was tension with every single race weekend, especially towards the end of the year. I feel like there was a lot of tension everywhere, and everybody was just sort of expecting a civil war to break out. In the end, it kind of did, but at the same time, it didn't in the way we expected. We all thought it was going to happen on the track. In the end, it was all about social media, but obviously, we know
yeah,
social media is not supposed to be.
social media was like how can I call it, a battlefield between the Max fans and Lewis fans. But
Yeah,
yeah, like you say, I kind of expected that as well, just because there was so much tension throughout the season, and or towards the end of the season as well, especially. So, but yeah, some people say that Max didn't deserve that championship. I'm like, yeah, I'm keeping out of it. I'm not even getting involved, and kind of after that, my interest in Formula One just basically just died, because it was just. I mean, I understand that you've got to move the times, and basically kind of things change, but just there's too it feels. I know Formula One's an entertainment business, but it just feels too. It just feels, especially with Drive to Survive, it just feels like a reality TV style championship now. That's my opinion anyway.
yeah, and I kind of feel you. The drama and the glitz and glam, and let's manufacture this or that for creating a storyline. I feel like that's sort of taken priority, especially with some certain rule changes like we see every now and again. I can say the last season I actually watched, like I followed with some interest, was 2024. Last year I kind of followed it, but at the same time I kind of started distancing myself from it. Like the
Mm.
racing didn't feel as good as the previous couple of years. Like everybody loves to slam the ground effect era, but we did have a couple of, like, not a couple, but a bunch of good races every now and again. And this year, what drew me off was not even the reg changes, because I was sort of excited for them, but I don't know. I guess people love to go on about, F1 has a huge calendar now. Like, I feel like 24 race weekends is way too much. Cut that down.
Yeah, I mean, if I was a driver, or I would phrase it, I would dread to think what it's like for a driver mentally having to do 24 races, because you're constantly having to travel all the time to like
Yeah,
different tracks, and also when you factor in the like PR commitments and sponsorship commitments, and at some point that's got to take a toll on the drivers as well. So I don't I don't envy them in the slightest, but I think I liked the way it was in the probably like in the early days or from my time watching in the like late 90s and 2000s. I or early 2000s. I prefer when it was something like how many races was it? Was it the? It wasn't 24. I think it was around about. Was it? Oh, it must have been in in the
I think
teens to high teens.
I think back then, I think the average rate, I think the average number of Grand Prix per year was like 16, 17, 18 tops.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So I think Formula One, in my opinion, should go back to something like that because you've got to remember that some of the drivers have got partners, families, wives, or you name it. You've got to think of them as well. How much time that drivers are spending away from them, and not just for the drivers but families as well. It probably takes a toll on them as well because they're hardly getting to see their like partners or husbands or whatever. So I think that's why I like sports car racing as well because the calendar is not long but it's not too short. There's kind of like a perfect balance, I feel like.
Yeah, obviously, we know sports cars is a different sort of animal because it feels like the drivers race nowadays. It feels like the drivers race everywhere. Like one weekend you see two guys sharing a car, the next weekend they're competing
Hmm.
against each other and racing for completely different manufacturers sometimes, depending on who it is, obviously. So I mean, if you follow enough series, you will keep yourself busy regarding sports cars. So it's a matter of what interests you, I feel like. But yeah, you have a
Yeah,
point.
but yeah, just going back to like how you got involved in watching motorsport as well. I guess when you were watching, you were talking about really like Brazilian drivers as well. I'm guessing you would be watching people like Rubens Barrichello. Rubens Barrichello. I'll probably butcher the second name because I'm not good at pronouncing second names. Is it Barrichello or Barrichello?
Uh, Honestly, regarding the English pronunciation, I see people using both. I usually go with Barrichello, but I think
Yeah, that's what I know. That's
both
what I
really
use.
works.
But yeah, I remember the Brazilian drivers I used to watch was probably this is going back to probably back in probably like the early 90s of IndyCar as well. I remember watching Emerson Fittipaldi as well. But I mean he was a big name in IndyCar at the time, and
Yeah,
I never watched him in Formula One because I wasn't around at the time, but I did hear that he was a very good driver in Formula One. But yeah, I remember
yeah.
watching Rubens as well in Formula One, and I think afterwards he took, I think he did take part in the 24 hours of Le Mans with Racing Team Netherlands, I think it was.
Yes,
Uh,
the
Back when they were
the
sponsored
orange
by.
name, stay orange, by the way. Yeah, I feel like I think it was. Yeah, it was them the an LMP2. Yeah, I missed that team by the way. I think the team management got involved in some shady business. I reckon, but
Yeah, I think
I missed
it
them.
was the owner got involved in something dodgy, or he was being
Oh,
investigated. I think was it Fritz van Erd or something like that.
I
I can't
think
remember the name.
yeah, I think that's the name.
Because I know he was like the owner, or basically the owner of Jumbo, who sponsored the car and who have sponsored Max Verstappen for quite a long time, until basically I don't think he's sponsored by them anymore. Just because of the whole thing with Jumbo, it went down. So, but yeah, that's where I remember Rubens taking part in sports car racing. Actually, he did take part in the 24 Hours of Daytona as well with WTR. I
Yeah,
remember that as well.
yeah,
I
good point
think
actually. I'd forgotten about
I think
that.
that was I think that was the year that I think that was the year they won, and then basically I can't remember who the driver was that had to stop on the slow down lap because I think inside the car they he basically started getting ahead it because of I think it was a leaking exhaust or something like that. So there was exhaust fumes coming in, and basically
Yeah,
I
it
think that's
was.
how Was it 2000 and... Oh, I can't remember the year. Oh,
Was it
that's
the
gone back a
year
while.
they got, was it the year they got disqualified because of drive time, or was it the other year, I think, which was the last year of the original, not the
Eh,
original, but the Daytona prototypes? I think it was either of those 2 years because it was right around the first couple of seasons of the what was then the United Sports Car Championship.
yeah, I think it was. I think it was the. That might have been 2015 or 16. I think I can't. It was round
I
about that anyway. But
I think it was 15. I think it was 15. I have something's telling me it was 15. I could be wrong.
as I checked my notes to see who it was, I think it was a. What is it? A Max Angelini? I can't say his second name, but you probably know who I'm talking about. Max Angelelli, I think it is.
Yeah, Max the Axe,
So
as they called him.
Max Axe, yeah, I remember. I forgot about that nickname. I love that nickname.
It was
But
yeah,
uh,
it was a good one.
but again, going back to Formula One and Brazilian drivers, I think I also remember Rubens getting his first win at Hockenheim in I want to say 2002, yeah, 2000 I think it was, because I was on holiday at the time watching that race, and I think it was the race where one part of the track it was raining, and then basically I think it was yeah, one part of the track was dry and one part of the track was raining and or wet, and I think Rubens decided to stay out in slick tyres and take the risk, and thankfully it paid off. And yeah, I remember that race very well because Rubens, especially his team radio, he was crying at the time, and because obviously it was his first win, and
Yeah,
that's like I don't. That's what I like about Brazilian drivers. They're very, I guess, passionate. Like basically they're not afraid to show their emotion, if you like. Uh,
guilty,
I,
guilty.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I was the same at Le Mans this year because obviously I've told the story so many times. Getting to see the team I support. I wish I had my Heart of Racing cap on me now. So, yeah, getting to see the team that I support finishing on podium the first time visiting Le Mans was something that I love with me. So, yeah, but moving on to sports cars as well. But yeah, looking at the IMSA season as well. How do you feel the IMSA season has been so far this year? Is it been as good as you think it would be, or do you think there's been some races where it's been to take race control for example? Do you think race control has been consistent enough with their decisions? I mean, I get that they're being a lot tougher this year, but I was actually talking to can't remember who I was talking to about it, but I was saying that I think at race control, I understand that they're trying to be tougher, but they've been I think their decisions with have been too inconsistent.
You mean regarding what's happening over in the States with IMSA, or?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, they.
IMSA. Yeah, sorry, I should have said IMSA. Sorry.
No, it's good. I think they need to be more. I think they need to be more consistent, and I think they need to be consistent, and when necessary, they need to get a bit more heavy-handed, and make make the drivers actually take accountability, because, well, Road America speaks for itself.
Yeah,
What happened at the end there was a byproduct of frustration. Like, obviously, I'm not gonna. We know that what happened between the 6 and the 31, this 6 was sort of in the wrong there, but then the 31 had also had its fair share of, should I say, war crimes before. So obviously, one thing does not excuse the other, and in both cases, both cars had their time when they were wrong. So I feel like IMSA just needs consistency, and the drivers need to know this as well. Like, oh, you pumped someone off the road, this is the penalty you're getting. Oh, you run somebody out of racing room, that's the penalty you're getting. Like, take the DTM. I feel like we've mentioned the DTM on
yeah.
the either on talking on Twitter, or also, like, on my own podcast with Nicole and Austin. Like, we've mentioned the DTM, and how effective they are. I feel like IMSA needs to take a leaf out of the DTM book of applying penalties because these guys are quick.
Yeah, I was going to mention DTM as well. I have noticed in DTM they don't mess around.
Nope.
If you mess up or if you mess up, take someone out, spin someone, run them off the track. They don't even hesitate for a second in making a decision and saying, "Yep, that's a penalty for you. That's you're getting whatever penalty or time penalty that you think is suitable for you." And I mean, I'm a big IMSA fan. I've always have been an IMSA fan since say 2005. But I think this season, in the past, I would defend IMSA like crazy. But I think this season they've just not been good enough with their race control decisions. Some of the decisions they've made during the season have made me scratch my head like and confusing. Just basically thinking it's like incidents that should be like given a penalty or basically kind of like looked at, they've not been looked at, or they've been declared that a racing incident, and it's like, what? It's like, are you watching? Did you see the same incident as I saw?
Are we watching the same race?
Yeah.
Or like, do you want us to take over race control for you and show you guys how officiating is done?
I mean, I remember I was watching Road America at the time, and I think it was the incident with the 31 and the 7 car. I think it was when the 7 car got spun into the gravel.
Yes.
I can't remember the decision, so that's bad of me. But I think was that declared? What was it?
No further action. It was no further
action. I won't say my reaction at the time because there might be kids that listen to this afterwards. But my short reaction at the time was is Stevie Wonder in charge of race control, because surely that's got to be looked at. But yeah, it's just I was chatting to Nicole about this as well, and I think I even said at the time I think IMSA has to get their act together for next season, because I don't think many teams or drivers next season, I think in my opinion anyway, aren't going to be quiet about it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like it's sort of ironic because everybody was, obviously it was for different reasons, but in another topic, it's a twitchy topic, the balance of performance one. It's kind of ironic because everybody was dunking on the WEC last year for, I don't know, for BOP reasons, not really race officiating reasons. But now this year, the WEC's improved, like they've gotten better, and now the whole focus is on IMSA and their inability to either balance the field out properly or issue penalties when they need to be given out. It's
I mean the balance of performance as well. I mean, I was actually chatting to Graham Goodwin from Dale Sports Car about this on a previous episode, and we were talking about balance of performance as well, and he even said as well that the IMSA did a good job last season, but it wasn't like perfect. But I think this season, like, I agree with you. I think at WEC, so far this season anyway, I think Le Mans, I think they got the BOP kind of just right. It wasn't perfect, but it made the race a lot closer, I think. I mean, I remember at one point, I think it was heading into night time. I can't remember what hour it was. I think there was still 9 cars in the lead lap at one point. So I think in that sense, I think it kind of showed that the BOP they'd done a good job with the BOP for Le Mans, and I think it was a lot closer. I think, and I think heading into the Sunday morning, I think there was still, I can't remember how many cars it was in contention. I think it was 4 cars or 5 cars that were still in contention for the one, I think. So I think, again, WEC done a good job with the BOP, and I think especially when you look at the manufacturers as well, how close they've been so far this season, I think WEC, in my opinion anyway, have they done the best job so far with the BOP. IMSA with the BOP, I think it's been a bit of a, like, basically, I'm not going to pull any punches, but I think it's been a bit of a joke this season. Basically, when you look at Action Express or Wheeling Cadillac, how
Yeah.
not dominant, but how like basically the run of podiums have been on, and I think, but yeah, I think it's good to see that they've been paid back, I guess, but I think it's just yeah. The thing that annoyed me the most with BOP this season is not BOP itself, but the fact that drivers and teams are not allowed to talk about it. And I think it's like, quite frankly, I think it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's a very it's the sort of move that you sort of understand why they did it, but at the same
Mm.
time you kind of don't understand why they did it, because if you I feel like it's the same rabbit hole that you fall regarding why the WEC stopped publishing their BOP figures for this year, because like it was the talking point before every single weekend, like who's got good BOP, who's being held back, who is this, who is that, and like I feel like the race results were always tinged by the BOP figures in a way or another. Like everybody would just look at that and be like, oh, of course, that's why this brand is able to come from behind. Oh, that's why this brand is doing everything correctly, quote unquote correctly, and not being able to move
Hmm.
forward or something. And like I don't know, sometimes they get their setups wrong. Sometimes some drivers are better at one circuit than another. Sometimes one track suits a car better than the other. And obviously, as we've seen this year, sometimes updated cars just work better. Like Toyota's been better, BMW's been better. Cadillac's still winless in the WEC, but they've been better. So
Yeah.
people are like, this is not an arms race, a development race like Formula One, like run what you bring. But at the same time, when you bring when you bring like Evo Jokers for the hypercars or the GTPs in IMSA's case, you will see a performance improvement. Like it's expected.
Yeah, and I think the worst argument I've heard about the hypercar or GTP is I've heard not on Twitter as such, but it's a discussion I've had with someone or some people ages ago. Some people are saying like, "Oh, I wish that GTP or hypercar would go back to would go back to the way or go back to or run the cars like the way they did in LMP1 with regards to developing the cars." And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, but if you did that, you're just going to cost or basically it means manufacturers and teams are going to have to spend like silly money, and then basically you run the risk of possibly losing hypercar or GTP because you're just basically spending like silly money, and then if you do that, yeah, you know what's going to happen. So
Yeah,
I like the way GTP or hypercar is because yeah, you've got manufacturers or teams still spending money, but it's not crazy money like you would see manufacturers or teams spending back in LMP1 or back in the LMP1 days, say for like Peugeot, Audi, Toyota. Like Toyota, but granted, they still spend money, but I guess this is just me guessing. It's nothing like you would see back in the LMP1 days, and I think it's good to see that it's been more. I don't know. I don't know. Regulate is the right word, but it's more sensible, I could say.
yeah. I think that's a good word to use. Like if basically history has shown us this on multiple occasions. Like back in the GT1 days, first it was road cars. You could only run road cars, and then brands started to like come up with homologation specials, and then costs went up, and brands left, and it became a one-man show, and then that got switched up. Then LMP1, the same thing. Like first it was Audi and Peugeot, then it was Audi and Toyota, then obviously the Dieselgate didn't help matters towards the end of
Hmm.
LMP1, but we had the Toyota show at the front of the field for ages, and not not many big brands, even big brands, were
Yeah,
willing to like, oh, let me throw hundreds of millions of dollars of euros at this project for I don't know for a couple of years and then pulling out. We saw that in GTE with Ford. Like they had a 4-year plan and they executed it, and that was it. They pulled out, and then the class ended up withering, and and went away as well. Like that's why we have GT3 everywhere.
Yeah, and I mean, as much as I enjoyed GTE Pro and the GTE, I mean, the racing was great, but it's GTE Pro, but it's kind of similar to LMP1 in a way.
Yep.
But
Yep.
manufacturers were spending money because they, like, even when it came to Le Mans, they were spending silly money because they really wanted to win that race. And I mean, Porsche won it, and Porsche won it with the. What was it? It was Manthey at the time. I think it was running the team. I think or basically it's basically Porsche won, and then I think the next year it was I can't remember. Yeah, the Ferrari won the next year in 2019, and
oh yeah,
as much as I enjoyed the racing in GTE Pro, it's just with the money that was being spent. You always knew that that class was going to be basically priced out of existence, and I think LMGT3 is a good replacement. I mean, you've still got, again, teams spending money, but it's nothing like that you would see back in the day. So, and I think the thing I like with LMGT3, some people don't agree with it, but I like it. It's basically, it's not just pro drivers. You've got what is it? Is it a platinum or gold, silver and bronze, I think. So
yeah.
So basically, it's not just like pro drivers. You're kind of spreading that driving responsibility between like different level of drivers.
Yeah, it's honestly, I will admit I was skeptical for in the first year, which was 2024. I was kind of skeptical, and that year the class was still sort of developing, so we did not have a lot of good on track action. It feels like that it was a developmental year for the class, in the collective sense, but it feels like more and more we've seen these guys sort of steal the show from their bigger and faster class sometimes. Like we've seen on occasion everybody being like, oh, hypercar is sort of meh, but LMGT3 is putting on a show. And yeah, that's good at least, because that's one of the good aspects about multi-class racing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, excuse me. I think I was like yourself when LMGT3 first got introduced back in 2024. I was kind of skeptical because of it wasn't just pro drivers anymore. It was
Yeah.
pro drivers, silver and the bronze drivers as well. So I kind of expected it to be like not LMP 3 levels of drivers, but I didn't expect the racing to be that exciting. But I think as a kind of the stage we've got to now, I think the racing in the LMGT3 is fantastic because you've got different level of drivers. They racing each other. They depending on what their strategy or driver plan is. So you could have like bronze drivers on track at the same time at Le Mans, for example, which means that they've always got someone to race each other or battle with. So in that respect, I like LMGT3. So I think it's a good move that they brought a class in. But there's just one thing I miss in WEC, to be honest. I mean, I know the class will never come back, but I do miss LMP2 not being around for the full season.
Yeah, it's sort of, it feels like something. It's been what, we're on the third year now where LMP2, sorry, is Le Mans only, and it still feels like something is missing. Every now and again I get this feeling that something is missing, and then I'm like, yeah, it's LMP2. Like I wish, but it's probably not gonna happen because we're gonna get, obviously, Ford's coming, McLaren's coming, and we're probably not going to lose the Sinatec run operation anymore because Geely's probably stepping in, like we saw in the news just today. But
Yeah.
if we had a bit of a hypercar exodus, if we lost, say, 3 brands or something, that's not going to happen, thankfully. But if we lost a bunch of brands, I wish they could allow maybe, I don't know, maybe 6 to 8 full-time LMP2 cars if the grid got too small. maybe limited to one
Yeah,
car per team or something, just to keep costs down in a way. Obviously, freight is expensive, and most of the teams would be heavy hitting teams anyway. But yeah, I feel like keeping it to one car per team could help in a way.
yeah. We're talking about you were talking about Geely as well. I know that you, Oz, and Nicole have talked about it on the over in the Honest Fact podcast.
Oh yeah.
What's your thoughts on the Geely? More than likely, as it looks right now, coming to WEC, and what brand do you think they'll race under? I've seen several people mention it could be Volvo. I think.
Yeah, honestly, I'm sort of at a loss at what they plan, what I think they're gonna do. Obviously, if they're gonna think about racing heritage, they're not gonna muck about. They're gonna go straight for some Lotus branding. But then there's the whole hybrid aspect of it, the whole, technological aspect of it, and I feel like they could use Volvo, maybe, or maybe they could just, brand themselves as Geely, or maybe Link and Co. Obviously, my sneaky favorite would be if they somehow turned up as the London taxi company, the London taxi maker. We're gonna have London taxi hypercars, everybody. But yeah, I hope they go with Lotus. I wish they went with Lotus.
Yeah, I mean, I would love for them to. I even said it on I think one of Nicole's posts. Was it last week? I think it was. If they do run under the Volvo brand, I would love to. I know that would
Yeah.
never happen, but I would love to see a Volvo 850 estate hypercar. Oh
Yeah.
no, oh, just for the lols.
No, it would be.
That would be
I
so
think
funny.
I would honestly. I could find myself cheering them on if they turn up using a different brand than what we're expecting. 'Cause, like, I feel like most people either expect them to go the Link and Co route or the Geely route. But if like I've thought about this. If they turn up as something else like Lotus or Volvo, or they could maybe show up as Polestar. I don't know. I don't know. I'm could back them up.
I could. Uh, Lincoln Co. I could actually see. I could see maybe that being a possibility because they do have a history of the racing and touring cars with the
Yeah,
what's the series? Is it WTCR or what I
I
think it's
think so.
called?
I think
Uh,
so. Yeah.
so I could see Lincoln Co. Possibly coming to WEC or running a Geely running under that name. So that's my prediction. That it's Lincoln Co. But I'm interested to see who they run under, or if they'll run under the Geely brand itself. So, but nevertheless, I think it's a good thing to see them another brand or make joining WEC. So I think it'll keep the hypercar class nice and healthy. I think, but I was getting
Yeah.
worried for a while that maybe some more manufacturers or teams might leave a hypercar just because yeah, it's just not to do with the cost, but I just think obviously we lost Porsche last season because of obviously what's going on in the background with them with the what's it the EV sales thing I think.
Yeah. They some people say it was because of the unbalance of performance. Some people say it was because of EV sales. I feel like it could be a bit of both. Obviously, I could obviously me with myself being a Ferrari fan, make of that what you will. But I feel like it was could have been a bit of both. But I feel like their struggling sales was probably what drove them away from the WEC and made them focus on IMSA. So yeah, I wish they came. As a Ferrari fan, I wish Porsche came back, but it's probably not gonna happen until the new rule set. So we have to wait for that one.
Yeah, the new rule sets as well as the 2030, I believe. So even though I'm an Aston Martin fan, I would love to see Porsche come back because Le Mans without Porsche just doesn't feel right in my opinion.
Yeah, it feels like something's missing. Like when they pulled out in after 2017, because of Dieselgate when they went away. This year too, even with the competitive hypercar class, it felt like we were missing something, and it doesn't feel right to have. Like this year, we had out of a 62 car field, we only had 2 Porsches in the whole field. That was very weird.
Yeah, I think that was in LNGT3 as well. That was the Manti Racing, I think it was. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll be honest. When I was at Le Mans watching, it just felt I was excited about being at Le Mans, but it felt another part of me felt like kind of deflated in a way because Porsche wasn't racing in hypercar. It just didn't. It took me probably just watching practice. It took me a couple of days to kind of for it to sink in that Porsche wasn't racing in the top class, and that was sad to see. I mean, but yeah, hopefully they come back. From what I heard is correct, back in 2030 when the new regs come in. So
I hope.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah, let's
I hope so. I also hope in one heartbeat. I hope Porsche comes back because of extra competition. In the other side of the coin, I hope Ferrari doesn't leave because of the new regulations and maybe spec parts. But they need to get. I've said this before. They need to sort of get off their pun intended. They need to get off their high horse. It's a different era of racing we're entering. So, like, guys, just adapt like everybody else is doing. Like, you can still.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at Toyota, for example. I think, if I'm correct, Toyota's even turned around and said that they've got no issues with like basically their proposed regulations, where it's so. I think, from Toyota, you would expect that because, in my opinion, Toyota has always been a classy manufacturer. Kind of just you don't really hear much from them. They don't try and cause any like political issues or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't dislike Ferrari, but I think Ferrari, it's kind of I get that vibe from them that they used to be like in Formula One. They used to. I remember in Formula One, they used to threaten to leave all the time, like, "Oh, we're going to create our own series," and And I used to think, if you want to leave, just leave.
Yeah,
Instead of trying.
It feels like they try to throw their weight around, like politically, like regarding decision making, and it's as a fan of theirs, I'm like I'm always like here shaking my head, like, guys, that's not how you do things.
So yeah. And then talking of new cars as well, we're coming to WEC for next season. Obviously, we've got the Ford Hypercar, which was I wouldn't say unveiled, but it was doing or ran its first test at Paul Ricard this weekend. Yeah, I don't know. What's your thoughts on the Ford Hypercar? Like from a design point of view and the engine point of view as well, engine noise point of view. Sorry.
Design wise, I would say generic. Like it's the generic hypercar shape we've all grown used to. I feel like obviously by this point it's like everybody knows how to make the optimized hypercar because the class is essentially 6 years old, and we had everybody coming out to play since 2023, so it feels like everybody knows what they need to do. And Ford's just essentially going this. I feel like they just went the safe route, and the new rules are just around the corner, so they might need to switch up their development pretty soon. Regarding engine notes, it sounds throaty. I like it. It's very, 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 very American muscle of them.
Yeah, I'm in two minds about the way it looks. I mean, when I heard that Ford was designing their own car. Well, obviously Oreca's helping them, but when I heard that Ford was pretty much designing their own car in house, if you like, I was kind of expecting them to do something different, more, I guess, outrageous, if you like. But when I saw pictures of it, I just felt. Yeah, I wasn't really excited about it. I don't know if it was because Ford was hyping it up for a while and then went all silent and then basically the only time you saw it unveiled was at the track this week. So yeah, when it was unveiled, I was kind of like meh.
Yeah, maybe. I think it was probably because they were all up in arms saying, "Oh, we're going to show it off. We're going to show it to the world in early August," and it took us halfway through the month to catch glimpses of it, to finally see it running. At least it's running and not being hauled back on a flatbed truck. But still, it sort of took out some of the excitement. I can understand that.
As for the engine noise, I'm kind of. It sounds good, but again, I'm kind of with Nicole and with Nicole and what she said. I'm interested to see what it sounds like with the WEC mufflers on. I think
Oh yeah.
it won't sound as good. I mean, I think the best sounding car with the WEC mufflers on is for me the Cadillac.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I mean, my how can I say, my pilgrimage through Interlagos last month just
Oh yeah,
essentially confirmed it that the Caddy is the best sounding car in the hypercar class. I dare I say the whole field. So if the Ford can live up to it, is that I feel like that is something everybody's sort of looking forward to. Like how is the can the Ford rival the Caddy, or is it going to play second fiddle sound wise?
yeah, and I mean, I think the car I'm most excited about is the McLaren hypercar. I mean, some people say it looks a bit boring, but I'm on the other hand, or I'm on the kind of I think different. I think the McLaren hypercar it just looks with the papaya orange. I think it looks cool. Obviously it's just testing colours, I think, but uh, I think I'm looking forward to hearing it, and I'm interested to see who McLaren go with for the driver lineup. Obviously, we've already had the Mikkel Jensen confirmed for with McLaren and Lawrence Vanthoor as well. So two good drivers
Yes.
they've got signed up already, and I think with the Lawrence experience as well with the racing in hypercar, he'll be a big asset. I think with especially when it comes to developing the car.
Yeah, well, hey, another orange reference. I I can't wait honestly I can't wait to see Prince in the McLaren. I feel like he sort of needed a change of scenery. Obviously, Porsche not being in the WEC sort of accelerated that decision because otherwise, I don't think he would have left the brand. I feel like I think Le Mans is the last big box he needs to tick off before, let's say, saying he achieved everything he set out to achieve. So I feel like the one of the ways to get to that point is with McLaren. Probably not next year because it's going to be a new car, but who knows? 2028, 2029, they're competitive enough. We will see.
And then, yeah, talking about WEC as well, I believe that you made a trip to Sao Paulo for WEC.
Yes, my little pilgrimage, which is set to be repeated next year, and I will do that every single year they come to Sao Paulo from now on because I didn't understand when people told me, oh, when you attend a race, when you go to a racetrack and you watch a race in person, you will understand what we're on about. Yeah, now I can definitely say what everybody was saying, understand what everybody was saying because it's addictive. To sum it up, it's highly addictive, and it was one hell of an experience. And honestly, even though I did a lot of things I never thought I would do, it didn't even feel like I managed to do everything that there was to do. So uh, I hope I can do more. Let's say next year.
Yeah, I was going to ask as well. Is there any other races that you would like to try and attend? I mean, obviously you've been to Sao Paulo now, but is there any tracks, maybe over in Europe that you like to attend? Maybe Silverstone, maybe Le Mans.
Oh, you know it. It feels like you were just in my mind right now. I was gonna say exactly these two. Obviously Le Mans, because well, Le Mans is Le Mans. It's uh the WEC round everybody wants to go to. Obviously Spa as well. Spa is loaded with history, and it's a pretty stunning location from based on what everybody's told me. Either for the WEC or the 24-hour race. I feel like either way is would be one hell of an experience. I feel like even more so the 24-hour race. I feel like 24-hour races are are like those occurrences when you sort of lose track of time after a while. I don't know if that's what happened to you this year, but I feel like at some point it just doesn't feel like I don't know, it just doesn't feel like reality anymore. And you're like, yeah, I'm really here up at whatever this time is, watching race cars go by, and it's dark, and yeah, there's there's nothing better to life than just be standing here or sitting here.
Yeah, I
And
mean, so
oh,
go ahead.
the the last one, yeah, I would say Silverstone because both because it is from what everybody from what a lot of people say, it's a good try. It always puts on a good show regarding racing, and for purely selfish reasons is because our little circle is mostly based around that part of the world. So I feel like my chances of meeting the most people would be if I went over there. Or should I say when I go over there? Because it's a when. I put it into my mind, it's a when.
Yeah, I mean for well, my plan at the moment is almost. I think at the moment it's 85% certain that I'll be at Daytona next year for the 24. So my I know as it stands, my plan is to meet up with a bunch of people. I mean, at the moment it's from IMSA Radio. It's Peter Mackay, Ryan Marine, Arjuna Kankapati, who else? The list is too long. It's basically I would be here all day if I started listing it. But yeah, basically a bunch more people I would love to meet as well. So, but yeah, did you get? I heard that you got a special gift at Sao Paulo from a certain Tarisao.
Oh yeah, and it's right here it's right here on my nightstand. It's this this bad boy right here.
Oh,
This
is that the 2020, 2025,
yeah,
again, 2025 Porsche from Le Mans?
the
Ah,
very
that's
one
nice.
he which in which he finished P6 in class, and it's got the as a bonus, it's got the F1 movie livery, so it's sort of doubly special. Obviously, Antari is giving it to me after we interviewed him for like in the Orange Flag podcast, obviously, and then getting to say hi to him there on both days, and obviously the livery is sort of just the icing on the cake. It looks stunning, and obviously we know what it means. So yeah, it was the sports cars was made itself noticed. I can say in the F1 film. If you've seen it, you know what I'm on about.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, that my favourite part from that episode of the Antares episode of the Orange Flag podcast, my favourite bit in that episode was when he was talking about Christopher Mees getting hitting a kangaroo at full speed, and I think it was Nicole that came out with something about what was it kangaroo flavoured ice cream, and I just burst out laughing when I was listening to it. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for that, Nicole. I even spoke about it with Nicole afterwards, and oh, it's so funny.
Honestly, we need
And
to get you. We need to get you on in the Orange Flag podcast one for one episode. Hopefully sooner rather than later.
yeah, I mean, I would love to come on. It's just I even said to Nicole as well, I'd love to come on. It's just obviously. like you guys have got like your own stuff to talk about, so I wouldn't want to come on and be like on for the whole episode, but kind of just share my experience about at Le Mans. But
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a good.
fingers crossed we can make it work.
Like we're having.
And always like, oh, that's a good idea. If I do manage to come on the Aris Fan podcast, I've got my Aris Fan podcast T-shirt laying about somewhere, so I could wear that. So my
you know what?
I could be a fanboy if you like.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like a fraud right now because you have a shirt and I'm one of the hosts and I do not have said shirt. So go
Yeah,
me.
I remember. I sent Nicole a message. I was like, "How do I get a T-shirt, like an Orange Flag T-shirt?" And she sent me a link, and I was like, "Yep." And as you can tell by my T-shirt, I am a Scott Dixon fan. For anyone that might watch this afterwards, so yay! Also, yeah, I got some gifts as well from Le Mans. I got some. I can't show all of them, but this is what I got from Le Mans as well. Is that the right way up? Is it? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, some driver cards from the Heart of Racing at Le Mans, and
oh yeah,
a special gift that Nicole sent me.
Cards from the Heart of Racing. We're twinning.
And Nicole got me a driver card for Laguna Seca from the IMSA weekend. A Lauren Heinrich driver card. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And she also got me a Heart of Racing sticker, which is I can't find it somewhere.
Yeah, it's my sticker's in here somewhere. I've got a bit of a pile going, but it's
is it here somewhere?
Find it. It's not like it's gone out on a walk, but
here we go.
It exists.
Oh, I got it here. I got that as well. So that was cool. And the Heart of Racing sent. It was actually the Heart of Racing and TS Sport had sent me this as well after the Spa 24 in 2022. Sorry, sent me this as well with the autographs. So that was cool. And yes, people, I am a. Give me a second. I am a big Heart of Racing fan, or fanboy, if you like.
We did know.
Yeah,
we did.
So. But yeah, my experience at Le Mans as well, that was so cool because I was meaning to go to Le Mans back in 2024 and 2025, but just like personal stuff was going on at the time and last year, so
yeah, I
never got a chance to go. But this year I finally got the chance to go, and I'm so glad I did because it was just such an honestly, Aris, if you get a chance, do go. Do go if you get a chance because it's such a fun experience.
It's life changing, if you will.
It's life changing because not just because I got to see my team finish on the podium in class, but I also got to see like Lauren Heinrich, another driver that I support, winning the an LMP2 Pro-Am on his debut as well. So that made it even more special, and just. Watching the race as well, like you said, watching the race going from daytime into like nighttime and like sunset as well. It's just such a cool experience. But it's just the end of the race. I even mentioned it in the group chat at the time afterwards. I was like wasn't crying or anything. But when you start getting all kind of, I don't know if sentimental is the right word. I
think it is.
Not sentimental, but kind of like carried away, just like in the moment. And after the race, I was just like standing at the fence, like in silence for like 30 minutes, thinking, I managed to get here, and I'm so glad I did.
Yeah, it was like when the race wrapped up in Sao Paulo, and we had the track invasion. And we were able to, like, the people in my sector were able to get out on the track and run towards the start finish line to watch the podium from the track. I feel like that a little bit extra emotional. I would have started crying as well. Like I mean, I almost thought it, like, I think I mentioned this in our group chats and maybe on the timeline, but when the first practice session started on the Friday morning that like the first day that I was there, like I just gotten through the track pretty much, and practice was starting. When I heard the cars and when I saw the cars go past, I was like, yeah, that's when it dawned on me, like, okay, I'm actually here. Um, this is peak life experiences, and I'm going to start crying now. I didn't, but I came very close to it.
Yeah, I was the same as well. I came close to crying, but I thought, yeah, it's just kind of. I kind of just like stood at the fence at the side of the track after the race for 30 minutes, as like I say, just like like taking it all in, realizing that I've watched this race for the first time, and it's just at the start of the first practice session when I watched the cars coming down towards Arnaz corner, not Arnaz, Bolzan corner, sorry. Watching the cars coming towards me, I was just like, wow, this is like total like I kid you not, I had like goosebumps on my arms. I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah, that was, yeah, I feel like Goosebumps is what the Cadillac was giving me when I was watching it in the second practice session, because uh, I managed to sneak up onto me and my friend who was, he was sort of showing me around the track. He he managed to, like, sneak. We managed to sneak ourselves into a sector of the grandstands that we did not have tickets for. Bit naughty, but I was able to get even closer to the action, and it was right next to the finish line, the start finish line. So it was also the highest point on the whole circuit. So the noise there was at its highest, because like you've obviously everybody's seen what the front stretch of Interlagos look like you have the stands on one side and the pit building on the other one. So it's like a thunder valley of sorts. Like you have it's like the noise just echoes, and you're just there drinking it all in. It's divine.
Yeah, that was like me at Le Mans. I was watching not at Bolzan Corner, but the straight after Bolzan Corner, like the exit of it.
Oh, yeah.
I took a walk down and there was like a bank that you could walk up and watch the cars going by, and it was so cool just watching, especially the Cadillac going by at high speed. You could hear the Cadillac coming through, like even on the exit of the second chicane in the Mulsanne straight, you could actually hear the Cadillac coming because it was so loud. And yeah, it's just so cool just being able to. The thing I liked as well is basically you could go to like different parts of the track as well. You could get like a bus that would take you like to different sections of it or different parts of the track, which was super cool. So I think one of the practice sessions, I think it was night practice on Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday night. I went up to Arnaz Corner to as well. Up Indianapolis and Arnaz, I went up to, and it was just so cool. Indianapolis, especially, just watching the cars come in, like not even lifting into Indianapolis before braking. It was just like totally got. I was just like, wow, totally. I was like really shocked.
Yeah, especially in the darkness. Like, I obviously didn't get any, despite what the cameras might have shown towards the end of the 6 hours of Sao Paulo. It was still daytime, but we obviously didn't get any night running. But I can only imagine what it feels like to be under the cover of darkness, and all you see is like headlights and the symphony of the engines. That's something I'm looking forward to in maybe a couple of years' time. Who knows?
And then yeah, you talk about the track walk as well. Yeah, that was something that was something that most of the fans done on the Friday at Le Mans. Like you could actually walk on the track and walk around if you wanted to, like the whole track. I know that excuse me. I know that our friend Chris from the group chat that we're in, he actually went round the whole track. I believe he was posting pictures, which was cool.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
We were, as our good friend, our other good friend Jody said, we were living vicariously through his pictures.
Yeah, I remember that as well. There was only one downside to walking around the whole track on the Friday. It was so hot. So basically, I was walking around the track, and I could actually feel. And sorry if it sounds a bit gross, people, but it was so hot that the back of my t-shirt was actually sticking to my back.
Yeah,
That was like how so hot it was. But yeah, it was worth it though. But yeah, if anyone goes to Le Mans and you get a chance to walk the track on the Friday, if you're allowed, do it because it's so much fun. Just
I
taking a walk round.
I
Go ahead.
I would definitely go and walk the full 13 kilometers. Like I would make myself do it because I would think I'm not here all the time. Like I don't know when I will be able to. Obviously, I'm saying this because, as you know, I kind of live far away from Le Mans, so it's yeah. I would try and make the most of that experience because it's probably a very cliche expression, but I feel like Le Mans is well and truly hallowed ground for motorsports.
Yeah, I remember you. I think I remember you mentioning that. Was it in the group chat I posted it?
Probably.
I think it was. Yeah, I mentioned. I posted a picture saying like, "Oh, I've arrived at Le Mans," and I think you commented saying like, "Oh, you're now on the hallowed ground," which I thought was a good description because
Yeah.
that's how it felt like for me. Because I honestly thought I would never get a chance to go, and unfortunately I can't go next year just because of other commitments. But I do plan on returning in 2028. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm not too bothered about not being able to make it. I mean, I I finally got a chance to say that I've been to Le Mans and it's off my bucket list.
Yeah, well, obviously, I did say that before, but I'm heading back to Sao Paulo next year. But for 2028, you know, assuming I can start making the arrangements early on, because the later you wait, the more expensive it gets, and it's not, when you crossing the Atlantic, basically, is not a cheap endeavor, depending on where you go. So the earlier I can start making arrangements for Le Mans 28, the better, because I do want to go. Next year is probably a bit too close already for me to make plans, but 2028 is definitely I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely planning to go back in 2028. So if you do go, let me know, and it would be good to, or it'd be nice to meet up with you if you do go.
Definitely. I mean,
Bye.
we obviously, I feel like we have a bucket list of events, but I also have like the a very very long list. It's probably longer than my arm. The list of like our internet people, our little circle of life of endurance racing fans that I wanna get in up close and personal with, because it's one thing to exchange messages and funny voice notes and memes all the time, but it's something extra to just meet up face to face and uh, share some good memories and experiences. I feel like that's probably what I'm looking forward to the most. Like, it's not even obviously seeing the cars and watching the race is pretty cool, but and obviously even Nicole told me this, like, when you go to your first race or your first couple of races at least, like, go by yourself, because then you will know like you know what to do. You'll become more experienced, let's say, and you will, I don't know, grow more mature when it comes to attending those events. But I also feel like if you have somebody to share it with, obviously you might cheer for different people, you might, go your separate ways, but just going, attending with someone or meeting up with people every now and again, that's that's uh, that's a very good positive. I would say that's a very high positive. If you're able to do, like, I met a bunch of people I follow on Twitter and who I've exchange tweets with every now and again, and like it was surreal. It was like, yeah, you were this little person on my phone. Now you actually exist.
That was like me when I went to Le Mans. It was who was that I met from our group chat? I think it was Matt that I met. Basically, it was I think it was through Twitter because both of us we were obviously both of us were at Le Mans, and Matt sent me a message asking I can't remember exactly, but he did ask, where are you about the. And then basically, I think he walked by me where I was camping at Le Mans, and he basically just kind of looked at me as to say, "Is that you?" And then I was like, "Oh, you must be." I was like, "Are you Matt?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm Matt." So it was pretty cool to like put a face to a name. And then basically we just kind of we chatted for about 5 or 10 minutes, and it was just like you said, it was so cool to basically meet another sports car fan, Le Mans fan, because like you'll chat to each like people, other people regularly, like on Twitter or just the internet in general. But meeting him was so cool, and it was basically I kind of expected to be like really nervous because like when I meet new people, I get kind of not nervous, but you don't know how you think people will be when you meet them. But Matt was such a cool guy to chat to, and if I make it over to Daytona next year, I'm looking forward to definitely meeting lots of new people.
Yeah, like obviously, the frustrating slash sad note about all this is in a couple of weeks we're getting, yeah, I guess we can say in a couple of weeks we are gonna have the Lone Star Le Mans, like WEC in Texas. I was slated to go. Like I was going to meet up with Nicole. I was going to meet up with Austin and Morgan and a couple of our other internet friends who are going. But sadly, my visa got rejected, so I'm going to be watching from 5,000 miles away. I'm just going to wave at them if they eventually show up on the broadcast. But there is always going to be a next time, so I'm not too frustrated because like I've only gone to one race yet, and I feel to me it just feels like I'm just starting out. So I'm trying not to let the fear of missing out get to me. It's a thing, as we all know. So it's obviously if one thing doesn't work out, it's fine. Just take a step back and obviously you're going to watch race cars to enjoy yourself and not to like stress out. So yeah, just take it easy. I say.
Yeah, and looking ahead to the rest of the, I guess, sports car racing season in general, is there any series that you've been keeping an eye on, or you watch regularly, or anything that's caught your eye?
You mean if there's like one of the series that I'm more closely following than others, or like if there's a time fight I'm keeping on? Yeah, honestly, I'd say everybody's probably already guessed it, but it's definitely the way. Like it's blown wide open at the moment. We're still in that sort of anybody can pull out a title charge and join the fight stage right now. So I still have hope for my prancing horse guys, even though I don't think they will be able to repeat their title from last year. But yeah, it will be interesting to see if who can actually pull it off this time. If we're gonna see Toyota winning again, or if it's gonna be BMW finally being able to crack it. I'm very intrigued by how the WEC season is going to turn out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the remaining IMSA races, especially in GTP. Obviously, we've got a like Action Express racing. They still leading the championship, but you've got Lauren Heinrich in championship contention as well in GTP with I want to say GDC, but I don't know. I've heard things going around or rumours going around that he might be back in the number 7 Porsche Penske, but I say that with a maybe because I'm not a Porsche fan, so I don't want to say I don't want to say something that's maybe not true, but nevertheless, I'm happy to see Lawrence still in championship contention, and if he did win the championship, I think it would be super cool. I think it would be a good, a feel good story as well, considering that he's won Daytona and he's won Sebring as well. So I think if he did win the GTP championship, I think it would round off a good season for him.
Yeah, it would be. Also, not to mention, he would have done that, winning after winning races in two different entries. So I'm not sure when was the last time somebody managed to win the title doing so. But or even if that happened, like winning races in two different teams. Obviously, it's the same car, kind of the same car because two different specifications, but two different teams, and then managing to pull off a title victory. I feel like that's a very good trivia question. Now I don't remember.
Yeah, and then also GTD as well. We've also got a fellow Brazilian of yours in championship contention or leading the championship with Dudu leading the championship. So fingers crossed he holds on and takes the championship. But I think with Wingward Racing as well, not too far behind in the championship. I think again it'll be a close finish to the season, I think.
Well, yeah. Well, in GTD, we all know where my allegiances lie. It's to do Barrichello all the way.
Yeah, same with me. My allegiance is with the heart of racing in general.
Yes.
So I mean, if Dudu did win the championship, I think that would be pretty cool for again his first season in IMSA as well. But on the other hand, I would love to see Dudu racing in WEC next season. I think if he does get a chance, because I think he would do really well.
Oh, I mean that especially if that meant I actually got around to just saying hello to him, because he was not there this year because of the clash with the Motorsport Canadian Tire Motorsports Park IMSA round. So at least he did well there. But yeah, he was not in Sao Paulo because of this schedule clash. I think it will. I'm not sure, but I think it will happen again next year. Which is kind of frustrating. But hey, I guess we will just need to see what the Heart Racing is going to do about their lineups.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what they do next season with the driver lineups. I mean, obviously, another factor as well is obviously, like driver grading as well. That can play a factor, I think. So, wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, before we finish, Aris, is there anyone that you want to give a shout out or thank you to?
Well, if I actually started mentioning everybody I wanted to mention, I think we would be, like you said before, we would be here until daybreak. But yeah, well, I guess I just want to thank everybody who's been around listening to this episode. It's this obviously not gonna just toot my own horn, but check out if you haven't, by the way, go check out the Orange Flag podcast episodes after you're done with this one, obviously. But yeah, it's been pretty cool to be here. I think I'm always either sometimes I get busy and I can't listen to a full episode. I'm always sort of catching little glimpses of what you do around here, Ryan, and I think it's pretty nice to have been around for this episode. And obviously I hope we can return the favor sooner rather than later.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I would definitely be up for that. But yeah, also as well, congratulations to you, Nicole and Oz, on the 100 episodes of the Orange Flag podcast. I mean, it's definitely a big milestone as well. I mean, I remember when did the podcast start? Was it 2024? I think.
September 2024. Like it started out as something completely like non-pretentious. We were just, oh, let's have fun doing this. Like we're just, we're three unknown personalities. So like, obviously we knew each other already within the group chats we were in, but like we're not doing this for fame. So to be recognized, like every now and again, like Nicole says, she's been increasingly recognized in the IMSA paddocks. But that is something interesting. But yeah, to be honest, it still doesn't feel real that we got to 100 episodes. And honestly, it feels like we're still just starting out. It's already been 2 years. So it's been an amazing 2 years, and who knows? So looking forward to two more, and then two more after that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to listening to more episodes in the future as well. And yeah, for anyone that's listening to this episode, if you want to keep up to date with the podcast, you can check out the podcast and follow it on the Instagram, Twitter, the TikTok, and I might have missed something else out as well, which is bad of me. But do you want to promote your socials for your podcast, Aris?
Oh yeah, like we are on. I feel like we're pretty much everywhere. Like obviously Twitter is where we're usually venturing, but we're also obviously on Insta, on YouTube, and on TikTok. So it's at Orange Flag Pod. And well, if you want to banter specifically with this person who you've been putting up with for the past an hour, you can find me. You can find me like on both Insta and on Twitter as at Aris_Alpenvlog.
Great stuff. Well, again, thanks for your time, Aris. It's been a pleasure to have you on, and again, hopefully we can catch up on the Honest Fact podcast if all things align. So, yeah, fingers crossed. But, from Aris, thanks for listening, and stay tuned for future episodes.